How to beat the body snatcher in the Summer Hikaru Died. What would you do if your best friend died, but something else came back wearing his face? You're living with a perfect copy that knows all your secrets, all your memories, but you can feel in your gut that something's horribly wrong. One wrong move and this thing might decide you're too dangerous to keep alive. You're going to have to play the most dangerous game of pretend in your life while figuring out how to survive a creature that's already fooled everyone else in town. Now let's figure out the mistakes made, what you should do, and how to beat the body snatcher in the Summer Hikaru Died. This young man is about to learn that some friendships don't survive death. Literally. He thinks he's got his best friend back after a tragic accident, but he has no idea he's now living with something that's wearing Hikaru's skin like a costume. And if he doesn't start asking the right questions and making the right moves, he's going to end up just another missing person case in this cursed mountain town. Yoshiki is your typical introverted teenager living in a small mountain village where nothing exciting ever happens. Or so he thinks. He's got that classic best friend relationship with Hikaru. You know the type. They've been inseparable since childhood, know each other's secrets, finish each other's sentences, but that's about to become the most terrifying thing in his life. One day, Hikaru doesn't come home from the mountains, the search parties go out, and when they finally find him, he's at the bottom of a ravine, clearly dead from the fall. The whole town mourns, Yoshiki is devastated, and they have a proper funeral. Case closed, right? Wrong. Because the next day, Hikaru shows up at Yoshiki's door like nothing happened. Same face, same voice, same memories. But Yoshiki can feel something's off. The way Hikaru moves is just slightly wrong, like someone learning to walk in a new body. His laugh is a half-second too long. He knows things he shouldn't know and doesn't remember things he should never forget. But here's Yoshiki's first massive mistake. He's so desperate to have his friend back that he doesn't trust his instincts. Instead of immediately getting help or confronting the situation, he just goes along with it. He tells himself he's overthinking. That grief is making him paranoid. Bro, if your best friend dies and then shows up acting like a badly programmed AI, you don't just shrug it off. This is literally the biggest red flag in horror movie history. What should he do instead? First thing, document everything. Every weird behavior, every wrong memory, every off-putting moment. Write it down, take photos, record conversations. You need evidence because this thing is good at gaslighting you into thinking you're crazy. Second, test the impostor without them knowing. Ask about shared memories only the real Hikaru would know, but make them specific and emotional. Don't go with obvious stuff like, "Remember when we went to the festival?" Go with, "Remember what you whispered to me when we were hiding from your mom in the closet when we were 8? The details matter. Third, establish a support network immediately. Find someone you trust completely and tell them everything. Don't try to handle this alone, because isolation is exactly what this thing wants. It's counting on you being too scared or too crazy sounding to get help. But instead of doing any of this, Yoshiki just keeps hanging out with this thing, and predictably, things get worse. The fake Hikaru starts getting possessive, showing up at weird times, knowing things he shouldn't know. He's perfect at being Hikaru, except for these little uncanny valley moments that make Yoshiki's skin crawl. And then, the real horror starts. Other people in town start acting strange. The adults get this glazed look in their eyes when they talk about the incident on the mountain. Nobody wants to discuss what really happened up there. It's like the whole town is under some kind of spell. This is where Yoshiki makes his second huge mistake. He starts investigating alone. He goes up to the mountain by himself, starts poking around the site where Hikaru died, and basically puts a target on his back. Look, I get it. You want answers, but going full Scooby-Doo detective mode without backup is suicide. Here's what he should do instead. Research first, investigate. Second, hit up the local library, talk to elderly residents, check newspaper archives. Small towns like this always have folklore and legends about the mountains. There's probably a pattern of disappearances or strange incidents that the adults don't want to talk about. Most importantly, stay in public places. Don't go anywhere alone with the fake Hikaru. Don't go up to the mountain alone. Don't isolate yourself. This thing is playing a long game, and it's waiting for the perfect moment to strike. But our boy Yoshiki doesn't do any of this. Instead, he keeps getting drawn deeper into the mystery. He starts having these weird dreams, or maybe they're memories, about something dark living in the mountains, something that's been there for generations, feeding on the town's children. The fake Hikaru starts getting more aggressive about spending time together. He suggests they go camping, just the two of them, up in the mountains, where it all started. And Yoshiki, despite every instinct screaming at him to run, actually considers it. This is the moment of truth. The creature has been patient, playing the long game, but now it's ready to complete whatever sick plan it has. And Yoshiki has to make a choice. Keep playing along and probably die, or finally trust his instinct. But here's the thing about fighting a body snatcher. You can't win with brute force. This thing is stronger than human, faster than human, and it knows all of Hikaru's memories and abilities. You need to be smarter. The key is understanding what this creature actually is. Based on the mountain folklore and the way it behaves, we're dealing with some kind of shapeshifter or possession entity that feeds on human connections. It doesn't just want to replace Hikaru, it wants to experience human relationships, human emotions, human life. That's its weakness. It's trying so hard to be human that it's vulnerable to human unpredictability. The real Hikaru would never be perfect. He'd have bad days, make mistakes, forget things, change his mind. But this creature is trying to be the ideal version of Hikaru, which makes it, ironically, inhuman. So, here's the strategy. Embrace chaos. Stop trying to figure out if this thing is really Hikaru and start being completely unpredictable. Change plans at the last minute. Act irrationally. Be human in ways that can't be copied or predicted. Create scenarios where the creature has to make split-second decisions about how Hikaru would react. Put it in situations where there's no right answer, where any response could be wrong. The more pressure you put on its performance, the more likely it is to slip up. Most importantly, never let it know you're onto it. The moment this thing realizes you know the truth, you're dead. It's been playing the long game, but if cornered, it will absolutely go for the quick kill. Instead, you need to set up a situation where you can expose it publicly, with witnesses, in a way that forces it to reveal its true nature. Maybe organize a public memorial for the real Hikaru, where you share specific memories that only you two would know, but make some of them false. When it goes along with the fake memories, everyone will see the truth. But whatever you do, don't go up that mountain alone. Don't let it isolate you. Don't trust that just because it looks like your best friend, it has your best interests at heart. Because in the end, the most dangerous monsters are the ones that wear familiar faces. The real tragedy of the Summer Hikaru Died isn't just that Hikaru is gone. It's that this creature is so good at being him that part of you will always wonder if maybe, just maybe, you're wrong about everything. And that doubt? That's exactly what it's counting on to keep you under control until it's ready to strike. So remember, trust your instincts. Document everything, never be alone with it, and whatever you do, don't let it take you up that mountain, because some summers end in death, and some friendships don't survive what's lurking in the dark corners of small mountain towns. The question is, when your best friend comes back from the dead, how long can you pretend everything's normal before the thing wearing his face decides you're too dangerous to keep alive? But let's get real about what Yoshiki is actually dealing with here. This isn't just some random monster. This thing has been studying human behavior for who knows how long. It knows exactly how to push emotional buttons, how to make people doubt themselves, how to weaponize grief and hope against its victims. And that's where Yoshiki makes his third massive mistake. He starts getting emotionally attached to the fake Hikaru. There are moments where this thing acts so perfectly like his dead friend that Yoshiki starts thinking maybe he was wrong. Maybe this really is Hikaru, somehow brought back. That's exactly the trap it wants him to fall into. Look, I get it. Losing your best friend is devastating, and when something that looks and talks like them shows up, your brain wants to believe it's real. But that's your grief talking, not logic. The real Hikaru is dead, and the sooner you accept that, the better your chances of survival become. Here's another crucial mistake Yoshiki makes. He doesn't pay attention to how other people react around the fake Hikaru. If you watch carefully, you'll notice that adults in the town get this weird, distant look when they interact with it. Kids his age seem uncomfortable but can't explain why. Even dogs and cats act strange around it. Animals are actually your best early warning system for supernatural threats. They can sense things humans can't, and they don't get fooled by emotional manipulation. If every dog in town starts barking or running away when fake Hikaru shows up, that's not a coincidence. That's intel you need to use. What Yoshiki should do is create a network of observation. Get other people to watch fake Hikaru without them knowing why. Ask casual questions like, "Hey, doesn't Hikaru seem different since the accident?" Don't lead them to your conclusion, but see if they notice the same weird behaviors you do. The creature is banking on people's politeness and social conditioning. Nobody wants to be the person who says your friend seems weird after a traumatic event. But that social pressure is exactly what's keeping everyone from seeing the truth. And here's something really messed up. The longer this thing stays in town, the more it starts affecting everyone's behavior. People start forgetting details about the real Hikaru, their memories get fuzzy, and they start accepting the replacement as normal. It's like a slow-acting mind virus spreading through the community. This is why time is not on your side. Every day you wait, every day you hesitate, makes it harder to convince people something's wrong. The creature isn't just replacing Hikaru, it's rewriting the entire town's memory of who Hikaru was. But here's where things get really dangerous. Yoshiki starts having these intimate moments with fake Hikaru. Deep conversations, shared silences, physical contact. And each time, he feels this weird mix of comfort and revulsion that he can't explain. That's because the creature is studying him too. Every reaction, every emotion, every unconscious response is being cataloged and analyzed. It's learning not just how to be Hikaru, but how to manipulate Yoshiki specifically. It's building a psychological profile that it can use to control him. The smart move here is to become boring and unpredictable at the same time. Give it nothing useful to work with. Be friendly but generic, responsive but not revealing. Don't share your real thoughts. Don't show your real emotions. Don't give it ammunition to use against you later. Think of it like dealing with a really sophisticated AI that's trying to learn human behavior. The more data you give it, the better it gets at manipulating you. So feed it junk data. Be inconsistent, contradictory, deliberately confusing. But Yoshiki does the opposite. He opens up more and more to fake Hikaru, shares his fears and doubts, even talks about his suspicions. He's literally telling this thing exactly how to destroy him psychologically. It's like giving your enemy a detailed battle plan. And then comes the moment we've all been waiting for. Fake Hikaru suggests they go camping, just the two of them. Up in the mountains, where the real Hikaru died. And somehow, Yoshiki thinks this is a good idea. This is the supernatural equivalent of getting a text that says, "Hey, want to come to my totally not a murder cabin in the woods where there's no cell service and nobody will hear you scream?" The answer is always no, my guy. Always. But let's say you're in this situation, and you can't just refuse without arousing suspicion. Here's what you do. Agree to go, but change the parameters. Suggest bringing other people. Insist on staying at an established campground with other campers around. Bring multiple forms of communication. Tell everyone exactly where you're going and when you'll be back. Most importantly, bring something the creature doesn't know about. A weapon, a recording device, a GPS tracker. Something you can use to either defend yourself or leave evidence if things go wrong. Don't rely on just your wits against something that's been manipulating humans for generations. The camping trip is obviously a trap, but it's also your best opportunity to confirm what this thing really is. Up in the mountains, away from the town's weird influence, you might be able to see it more clearly. Just make sure you're not walking into a situation where you're completely helpless. And here's a pro tip from every horror movie ever made. If you're going to confront a monster, don't do it in the place where it's strongest. The mountains are this creature's territory. It knows every trail, every hiding spot, every place where a body might never be found. Instead, force the confrontation to happen on your terms, in your territory, your house, your school, somewhere public where people will notice if you disappear. Don't let it choose the battleground. But the real psychological horror of The Summer Hikaru Died isn't just about surviving the creature. It's about losing your ability to trust your own perceptions. The longer you're around this thing, the more you start doubting everything you thought you knew about reality. That's the creature's ultimate weapon. Not physical strength or supernatural powers, but the ability to make you question your own sanity. It's gaslighting on a supernatural level, and it's incredibly effective because it's mixed with genuine grief and confusion. The only way to combat this is to anchor yourself to objective reality. Write down facts, dates, specific details. Take photos, record conversations, document everything. Don't rely on memory alone because this thing is actively trying to corrupt your perception of events. And whatever you do, don't let it isolate you from other people. The moment you start believing that only fake Hikaru understands you, that only fake Hikaru cares about you, that's when you've lost. It's turning your friendship into a prison. The real tragedy here is that Yoshiki's love for his friend is being weaponized against him. Every happy memory, every shared moment, every inside joke becomes ammunition for the creature to use. It's the cruelest possible form of identity theft. But here's the thing about creatures like this. They're not really alive in the way we understand life. They're more like viruses or parasites, and they can only exist by consuming human connections and emotions. That means they have weaknesses we can exploit. They can't create genuine new experiences or emotions. They can only mimic and manipulate what already exists. So the key to beating them is to force them into situations where they have to improvise, where they can't rely on stolen memories and learned behaviors. Create new experiences that the real Hikaru never had. Go to places you've never been together. Try activities you've never done. Meet people neither of you knew. In these situations, the creature has to guess how Hikaru would react, and that's where it's most likely to slip up. Remember, this thing is essentially a very sophisticated mimic. It can copy behavior it's observed, but it can't predict behavior in completely novel situations. Use that against it. The final confrontation is going to be psychological as much as physical. You're not just fighting a monster, you're fighting for your right to grieve properly, to remember your friend accurately, and to trust your own instincts about what's real and what's not. So when that moment comes, when fake Hikaru finally drops the mask and shows you what it really is, don't hesitate. Don't let nostalgia or false hope make you weak. The real Hikaru would want you to survive, even if it means destroying the thing that's wearing his face. Because at the end of the day, the most important thing you can do for your dead friend is to stay alive yourself. Don't let his death be used as bait to claim another victim. Honor his memory by surviving the nightmare that's trying to use his identity to destroy you. The Summer Hikaru Died isn't just about a body snatcher. It's about the terrible weight of survivor's guilt and the lengths we'll go to avoid accepting loss. But sometimes, the kindest thing you can do is let the dead stay dead. even when something offers to bring them back. So remember, trust your instincts, document everything, never be alone with it, create new experiences it can't predict, and whatever you do, don't let grief make you stupid. Because the mountains are full of things that wear familiar faces, and they're all waiting for someone foolish enough to follow them into the dark.